Thank you for joining us for another episode of Shalanda Says. Today I have with me Yolanda Allen. Hi, Yolanda. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. I do appreciate you coming on very much. So appreciate you coming on and bringing a question. Yolanda has brought a question for
Mhm.
us today. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we jump into the question?
I sure will. My name is Yolanda Allen. I am the founder of Wow Ministries and WDRB Media Entertainment. I'm an entrepreneur. I have Wow Naturals, and I'm also studying to be a trauma and addiction coach. What else do I do? I just do. I do a lot of stuff, and it all ties in together. So I want to thank you for having me here.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Okay, so your question for today or for the week is being strong a gift or a curse?
Yes, ma'am.
It can be both. It depends on the person's attitude and I'll say the vibe that you're giving off to the other
Hmm.
person. Now, it can be a curse because people may find it intimidating, especially if they recognize that it's a strong female. For some
Hmm.
reason, I won't say that men in particular, I'll just say for some reason, some people find
Some people, right?
strong women to be intimidating. And if you come off too intimidating to people, depending on the person, they can try to limit your access to certain opportunities.
Right.
If you come off as too intimidating, for example, a supervisor, I had a job where I was placed in a job or I applied to a job that was below my experience and education level. But I
Right.
decided, okay, let me get my foot in the door and
Hmm.
I'll work my way up.
Work your way up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
However, the supervisors, I had more experience and education than most of the supervisors. The head supervisor, we were on the same level. Well, actually, I had more education than him. We both
Wow.
had masters, and I started on my doctorate.
Okay.
However, um, in conversation, when the men, it was men supervisors, I just put it out there. When the men would say certain things and I would chime in, my opinion wasn't always appreciated, or my background knowledge was always appreciated.
You were
And
snubbed.
yeah, exactly. How could I tell?
Hmm.
By their facial
By their
expressions.
facial expressions.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, I
Like,
know.
well, she thinks she knows something too.
Hmm.
So you're only a lower level employee. What do you know?
Right.
Right. And I don't know if you heard the term dumb it down,
Hmm.
but I began to understand why some people feel they had to dumb themselves down
Right.
around certain individuals. And I did not like that at all. I was very uncomfortable. So anyway, it you can come off as intimidating depending on your personality and the other person's viewpoint and the vibes that they're feeling from you. And I watched myself. I don't think I was coming off as a know-it-all. So I did make sure
One.
that I said a little something and left it at that
Right.
rather than taking over the conversation, you
Right.
know. So the I would say that the strength of having being a strong person is that you're not as timid as some people and
Right.
you do go for certain opportunities. Your strength, guess what? People are watching us, whether we
Right.
realize it or recognize it
Not.
or not.
Hmm.
And that strength vibe that we give off can encourage someone else
Right. Well,
just
that's what I
by
was
us
looking to
being.
do. Hmm.
Yes, just by us being a strong person. Like as I mentioned before, we have a vibe that we carry. There's an aura around us, and people recognize it. And
Okay.
I know you're familiar with scripture. Christians, we're the salt of the earth.
Man.
People know that there's something different about us.
Okay.
And some people may not like it, other people may love it. It depends
Mhm.
on the individual. So that's why I say being strong can be a gift or a curse, because it depends on how we are carrying ourselves. And it also depends on how people are receiving us.
Okay.
And I prefer to look at it as a strength, because in this world, people as females and Black females and Blacks in general, we have certain stereotypes that are so strongly against us.
Right.
I think it's a strength that we can deal with certain microaggressions, I'll call them, on a
Hmm.
daily basis that other people just do not understand that we deal with. And for me, to me, being strong is a strength and not a curse. So, but I thought I'd give both viewpoints.
I appreciate that because I was starting to wonder. I'm like, I go out of my way
Hmm.
not to people please, but to not make them think that I don't want them to think I'm superior because I'm not.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't want to dumb myself down and pretend that I'm not intelligent either because the next person can't handle it. So I find a lot of people, like you said, how do you know they snubbing you? Their face, their energy as you walk up.
Yes.
I see it all the time. And I'm
Hmm.
like, go out my way. I love people. I'm an empath. I love people from my heart. So, and I pray for people that I don't know about, and I still get treated that way. And it's like, one thing you don't know about me, I'm disabled. I have debilitating arthritis. So I don't stand straight up. I walk on a cane. It just depends. Some days I do, some days I don't. And that enough is hard for me to get out and have to accept it and face it. And on top of that, I get snubbed. So it makes me feel like, well, am I being snubbed because I'm disabled, or I'm being snubbed because
Right.
I always hear people say, who does she think she is? And I'm like, I'm me. I mean, I struggle enough. So I really don't know what to do. But what I'm not going to do is not be who I am, because God
Right.
told me that I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. You know,
Exactly.
I
Hmm.
had to talk to somebody else because I said, well, what am I doing wrong? Am I giving off a bad vibe? I don't know. So I really had to speak to an expert, Miss Yolanda, because I didn't know. I was lost, totally lost.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So we just to summarize, I would say be mindful of yourself and how you're coming off, and pay attention to other people's mannerisms, the
Hmm.
body language that they're giving off,
Hmm.
and their facial expressions, and did they start being quiet when you were talking? Yeah, so
Right.
those will be cues for you to start like looking at yourself and, okay, am I talking loud?
Wow.
Am I taking over the conversation?
Hmm.
Am I using a tone that is making them feel belittled?
Little right.
Yeah. So it's a matter of being mindful, having self-awareness basically, and also paying attention to other people as well. And that's just what you have to do in the car. It sounds like a lot, but that's what you have to learn how to do until you, I guess, get a little faster at gauging the conversation and the company that
Right.
you're keeping. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
I appreciate that. I actually tell people the same thing. And I always try to make sure that I speak to someone who is at a higher level than me. And it was just a major question that I had. I just didn't understand what the problem was. But I will be very mindful, and thank you for having me and telling me that
Hmm.
of how I come off, but
Hmm.
I love people. I'm an empath. I pray for people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if they don't like it, but oh well. I got to
Yeah.
keep going because Jesus said so.
And we all need each other, believe it or not. We were
Right.
made social creatures. That's why that's why social media is so popular, and because we like to know what's going on with other people and get
Mhm.
feedback in our lives as well. We're social creatures by nature.
Right.
Yeah. We just have to learn how to interact with one another.
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You really
Yeah.
do. Because
And
everybody, I learned too, everybody don't love your kind and loving demeanor. I learned that the hard way too.
mhm.
I used to think I'm so nice. I love people. They don't care. They don't
Yeah,
care about that. So I'm
yeah,
learning so much. I really am.
yeah, good. My mother told me that when I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I started dating my husband. We were friends first. We met in middle school, high school,
Oh, that's
and we
nice.
started dating in college.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother and I know part of it, I know I go back to psychology stuff. Part of it goes back to she was a single mother. She was very close to her three sons.
All right.
And
Three sons. I got three
yeah,
sons.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess I wouldn't say she saw me as an imposter, but she didn't warm up to me really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And when he made decisions, she was used to being part of his decision making. But then he had a
Right.
girlfriend he was running things by. And
Mm-hmm.
his mother and I, we used to butt heads.
Bet.
And I told my mom, I said, why doesn't this lady like me? What is the problem?
Well, what I
Being nice to
do?
her and being
Uh-huh.
respectful. And my mom said, Shalanda, everybody is not going to like you.
That's right.
And I thought, I said, oh, okay, of course.
Right.
But and I said, well, why wouldn't everybody like me? I'm not,
Why?
but I had to get over myself because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not going to like me. That's just
Don't.
life.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how nice and sweet we are, everybody's not going to like us. Everybody is not going to understand us. So we
Right.
just have to be mindful of ourselves, everybody else, and keep it moving and keep on working towards our goals and our purpose.
That's right. I understand. I always tell my kids, you can give somebody $1,000,000, they're gonna still talk about you. That's
Hmm.
just how people are. They talked about Jesus. My mom would say to me, they talked about Jesus, didn't it? And I said, well, that's a good way to look at it. I said, I know I'm not Jesus. So yeah, but it's just I just like I always tell people, if you want to change, look in the mirror because we can't control the people. We only can be responsible for ourselves and give the love from our heart to people. And if they don't want to accept it, then that's on them.
On them. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, Miss Yolanda, I do thank you for bringing a question to Shalanda Says. I appreciate your question of the week, and I do hope to have you back.
I sure will. Thank you so much. I would love to come back. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you too.